guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and I have exciting information from patch 9.1.5, and that is that Angreless just posted on the forums that they got a half-empty food container on the PTR. Okay, so what does that actually mean? The half-eaten food container is the item that contains the filthling pet. And the way the filthling pet is supposed to work, the way it's always worked since it was introduced in Island of Thunder, in Agalic Crag, in patch, is there are these little quivering filth out in an island off the coast of Mist of Pandaria. These little quivering filth, after you kill 40 of them, a new quivering filth spawns, a bigger version. And if you kill 10 or 11 of those bigger versions on average, you're gonna get this half-eaten food container that contains the filthling battle pet. So blah blah blah, like lots of numbers. The way it drops is kind of interesting and will matter. It's about a 1 in 400, 1 in 500 drop chance. About a year ago, at the height of the multi-boxing boom, something interesting happened. Blizzard was also in the process of rescaling everything, and the level squish was happening. And I started hearing rumors that the filthling pet wasn't dropping anymore, that people weren't getting it. And it was just kind of one of those like, hey, I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten it either. I haven't gotten it either. And like just all these people who regularly farm it, not getting it. And it drops frequently enough. Like if you take a group of 5 people out there, you can get a lot of kills per hour, a lot of lootable bodies. So I decided to take my entire multi-boxing 16 druid team out there. I got them in 4 groups of 4 in 4 different phases, and I just camped those quivering filths, and I killed 150,000 of them. What does this mean? What does 150,000 kills actually mean? Can we say that it was removed after that? Well, no, because you can't ever stay with 100% confidence that anything can't happen. But there's a trick with binomial distributions. It's called the rule of 3, I think. If you have a situation where something can either happen or it can't, then it has a binomial distribution. There's a percentage chance of it happening. And killing something and getting loot is a binomial distribution. A success is the item dropping. So if you kill something 300 times without getting loot, you can say the drop rate is 1 in 100. If you kill something 3,000 times without it dropping, you can say the drop rate is 1 in 1,000. And if you kill something 150,000 times without getting loot, you can say that the drop rate is 1 in 50,000. That's all we can actually say. But that's a big change. So I put together a forum post to see if we could get any answers on what was actually happening, explaining what tests I did, asking for other people to share, and we got a lot of really interesting. I love whenever really experienced people come together and start sharing and learning from each other, people who have like very specific experiences. It's always fascinating to me. But yeah, it's been a year without this being addressed or fixed. No, there's been no official response. We don't know what's going on, but it has affected the market. These used to be one of the things that you just keep stocked on the auction house, like the Crimson Whelpling or Emerald Whelpling or Bronze Whelpling or Dark Whelpling. Like they maybe don't sell for a ton of gold, but they're easy enough to farm up in a group, and it's just one of the like 10 or 20 pets you should just keep up all the time. Zomstrock is another one. But these used to sell for between like 200 to 500 to 1,000 gold. If you were on like a no pop server, you could get away with charging 1,500 or 2,000. But now on my tiny little server, there actually aren't any available. I should probably post one of the ones that I have in inventory. 11,000 gold, 15,000 gold, 20,000 gold, up to 30, 40,000 gold on some servers. So I think it's absolutely fascinating to see what happens to a market when you take something that's super easily farmed and everybody has to live off their inventory for an entire year. What happens to prices? And turns out that prices go from like 200 gold to 20,000 gold. That's just, I love it. I love it. I think it's really interesting. Like the highest quantity of these posted is like 7, but like realistically like 4 or 5, and it used to be like 20, 30, 40 up at a time. So this is really interesting, but it's funny that people still have a stockpile of these. So we looked at how this farm used to work. We looked at how it potentially changed. We looked at our test of how it changed. We had a little stats lesson to figure out what the test actually means. We've seen what's happened since, and then we've kind of analyzed that. Let's get back to Angerless's post that they just got a half-empty food container on the PTR. Let's go back out there and test that. So I just took my little boom chicken out there and I ran around like a boom chicken with its head cut off, just lasering things all over the place. And after 10 minutes and about 300 kills, I got one! Yay! And then just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, I ran around for another 10 minutes and I killed another 300 or so things and I got another one. Hey! So the drop rate that we would be expecting if this was back to the way it originally worked, is we would expect the drop rate to be 1 in 400, give or take, which is about a 0.25% drop rate. I killed 620 things and I got 2 pets, which is about a 0.31% drop rate, which means farm got fixed. The farm is back. There are a couple things that I want to talk about though. So a couple words of warnings and a couple pleas to Blizz. So first, as I mentioned before, it's an interesting case study to see what happens when something is made unobtainable, specifically something as slow moving as battle pets and something that was as easily farmed as the filthlings were. There are hundreds of pets up on the auction house across the world, and every single one of those was farmed up at least a year ago. So I think it's, you know, yes, the price has risen up to 10K, but that's still just the value of a run-of-the-mill, low-quality, easily farmed battle pet. So this might be an indicator that something is wrong with the way loot works. So the second thing, prices are 20,000 gold right now. No one's been able to get this for the past year. Prices are about to tank. So if you have any of these, get rid of them. And the third thing, I'm glad this farm's back because this spot in particular is a really great tool. It's a good tutorial for new gold makers. You know, a lot of players, even if they've been playing forever, still think everything spawns on a timer. And that's true, things do. There is a timer, but pretty much every enemy in the game also force spawns. It has a dynamic respawn where there have to be at least 3 or 5 or 10 of them up. And so this is a really good spot where you can see almost every force spawn and you have to interact with it. So like you kill everything and 2 or 3 things spawn at the edge of the water, so you have to go run over to them and then you kill those and then you see 3 more spawn and you run over and kill those. So it's a very visceral thing to show you how force spawn actually works. And then on kind of an intermediate side of things, it shows that the power of parties and party loot, where you stand in one pool and the other person stands at the other end of the pool, and you may think that you get 2 times as much loot, but you find that you can actually kill faster than you were before because you aren't having to run back and forth. So not only are you getting credit for the kills your friend is doing, but you are able to kill things even faster, so you're actually getting 3 times the loot, and you each get to loot each other's kills, so you each are getting 3 times the loot. So the farm is generating 6 times the loot, and then you can bring in a 3rd person and a 4th person and a 5th person, and suddenly y'all are generating 25 times the loot of what you were back when you were solo farming. And my 4th point is actually the culminating point of this whole video, the reason why I wanted you guys to watch this. I think there's a problem with loot in WoW. I think party loot is that problem. So when this farm was first introduced, as a rule of thumb, a single person farming current content things can get about 500 kills per hour. And if you're really geared and killing current content things, you can kill about 1,000 per hour. Just solo, you're in a force spawn and you're just running around killing things. About a 500 to 1,000 an hour. These have about a 1 in 500 drop rate. So this was designed to give 1 to 2 pets an hour, which is pretty average. And then on the other hand, nowadays, a 5-man party can go out and kill about 100 enemies per minute. And since every person with party loot can have access to all 100 of those kills, it generates 500 lootable bodies per minute. So it generates in 1 minute an hour's worth of effort. So I've tweeted this issue and a couple fixes to Warcraft devs over the past year, but I think it's a problem. I think it's a difficult design space that they put themselves in, where a solo farmer can generate 500 kills per hour and a group farm can generate 30-40,000. It means like you can't balance the drop rate for either one of them. I think the filthling is too cheap. It drops too quickly by today's standards. So we should maybe nerf the farm a little bit to where like the elites spawn every 50 kills of the little ones, and then the elites drop the pet every 20 or 40 kills from there. And so that would kind of balance it out, so it's not too frequently dropping in a group farm, and it's still obtainable by solo farmers. But I mean, essentially that's the issue. If you balance something so a solo farmer only gets 1 per hour, then a group farm can get 50. If you balance things so a group farm can get 1 per hour, then the solo farmer has to farm for like 20 hours plus in order to get it. And in either one of those situations, it's either too rare to be fun for the solo player, or it's too cheap to be worth your time as the solo player. So the solo player loses in all situations. And devil's advocate, the only thing I can think of is maybe I'm comparing apples and oranges. Maybe I'm like comparing the damage output of a player just questing by themselves to the damage output of a raid, but I don't think I do, because at the end of the day, we're talking about the players trying to obtain the same rewards. I was recently asked what the best place to farm cloth was, and the only answer I could give was find a 2x4 group in the group finder, because it's absolutely not worth it to farm solo. And that kind of makes me sad. I think group farms should be better, but I don't think solo farmers should feel like they're wasting their time. But that's it for me right now. No matter what the problems are with loot as a whole, the Filthling Battle Pet is back. So go out there and get yourself one. Farm up a few to keep up on the auction house. And enjoy everything that patch 9.1.5 has to offer. Get yourself some Mage Tower appearances. They're beautiful. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, everybody. Good luck and happy gold making.